Hey, what's up guys, it's Ray Brizzy. I'm a product photographer and videographer, and today I'm actually going to talk to you guys how to do product photography from home. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so one of the first few things that you need is you're going to need a camera. Now, your lens doesn't have to be super crazy. It can be a 2.8, it can be an f4, because most of the time for product photography, you're going to shoot at f9, so you don't really have to worry about that. The camera I'm shooting with is a Sony a7 III, and then the lens I'm going to shoot with is a 28 to 75 millimeter Tamron 2.8. And then you're also going to need a trigger. We are going to be using strobes. So the strobe that I actually have, let me go get it real fast. This is what you guys are going to need. So this is my strobe, is a 400 AD 400. And then this is a C stand. Now what I have right here is a backdrop holder. This is one part of this backdrop holder that I bought. This is by Fudesy, and it actually extends up to 10 feet, but I feel like this one's a little weak. But since you are just only going to be shooting from home, you're not going to need a super long backdrop. So I'm going to get to the backdrop next. So when you're choosing a backdrop, this is definitely one of the smaller ones. I'm not sure, this is 53 by 12 inches or yards. I think it's yards. And this one is perfect for shooting at home. It's not super big. It's probably not going to be bigger than your room or anything like that. But this is the ones that I use. It's usually by Savage Paper. I like these because you don't have to worry about steaming them or anything like that. The other thing you are going to need, sometimes you do need it, sometimes you don't, but it's a tripod. It helps making the shots a lot easier, at least for me. So having a tripod is important. And then the other thing you're gonna need for your 400 AD is gonna be this. So this is more of a diffuser. I shoot mostly video, so these are for video, but you can get ones for photos, or you can also use umbrellas. Umbrellas is the cheapest option for you. So if you don't want to use a C stand, you can definitely use one of these regular stands, but I do recommend the C stands because you can maneuver or put the lights in different ways that you just definitely can't do with this. So I would definitely urge you getting about 2 to 3 C stands. The last thing I do want to mention is that if you're only using one light, you are going to need an Elmers white form board. So this is definitely going to bounce light. I'm going to put it right now so you guys can kind of see how this fills the light of my skin over here. So it's the same with photography. You're just going to bounce light back, and so the shadows don't look as dark. See the difference? You can use those just in case you only have one light. I know these strobes are pretty expensive, so it cost me an arm and a leg to get one. So I understand if you're only using one light. Make sure that you bounce it with Elmers Ford, white bone Ford. Alright, lastly, you are gonna need some. It's always helpful to have some of these clamps. These plastic ones are actually pretty cheap, so these are the ones I use all the time, so make sure that you get some of those. And then we're gonna go to the table setup. So let me go get this shot set up. Alright, so as I was mentioning, this is actually super helpful because it's a sawhorse. And I'm gonna put everything on the description so you guys can grab all the stuff. And the sawhorse is pretty helpful because you can kind of like put it down ready to go, and then also you can put it away right in the same room, so you don't have to worry about taking up a lot of space. Because most of the time when you're just starting out, you are kind of working with like a movable room. Right now I'm in my living room, and it's the space that I used to shoot, it's 8 feet by 8 feet, but anything smaller than that might not work. So make sure that your room is a decent size. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention again are these white boards. I forgot the name of them, so let me go check. So these are called Melamine white panels, and they were actually pretty cheap. I think it cost me anywhere between $30 to $50 on Home Depot. I'm going to show you guys the links to everything. But this one was cut in half, and then it was cut in half again. So the main reason you want to have that is because sometimes you're shooting smaller products. You're gonna need a board that's a lot smaller. You don't have to use the big one all the time, but if you do get bigger products like clothes and you want to be able to lay it out the whole way, you're gonna have the first half that was cut, and that first half is pretty big. But again, I already did all the measurements, so everything's gonna be able to fit within the 8 by 8 foot room. So this should work for you. Alright, I am gonna mention one more thing about the Melamine board is I don't even know how to pronounce it. But make sure that you take a truck, because one time when I took it and they only cut half of it, it didn't fit in my car, so I had to get someone to help me out. So make sure that you get a truck so that you don't have to struggle like I did and ask random people for help. That's it. That's all you really need to be able to do product photography at home. Okay, now the second part is a little bit of product research. So you want to see what companies you like. The one that I'm going to be shooting for today is actually Izzy. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of research, and I'm going to show you guys what I did on my screen on my phone. Let me start recording. Alright, so right now I am on Izzy's Instagram, and right now I'm just scrolling through and seeing what they do. A lot of shots. I don't like a lot of the shots that they have. They're pretty ugly, at least to me. Lifestyle shots with people, stuff like that. They have some slow motion stuff, but it's nothing crazy. So there's this one where you can just see the background changing. Oh, you guys are gonna be able to see this. So the background is changing on this. People just holding the Izzies. I don't think there's anything cool, to be honest. Some of it is like stop motion. There's none of their shots tells me to like stop and look. So that's the thing that you want to do is when you're researching the product that you want to shoot for. Sometimes you will have clients and stuff, but if you're just starting out, you're gonna have to at least get 10 companies that you potentially can shoot for. And yeah, but outside of that, so we covered what we need. We covered how are you gonna shoot it, and then how are you gonna present it to the brand. And let's get to shooting. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so like I mentioned, I'm gonna turn my living room into a studio, and I'm just gonna show you guys how long it takes me to do that. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get it set up. Alright guys, so either you want to use the same color or you want to use a complementary color. So usually I just look at the color wheel and try to figure that out. So the color that I'm going to go ahead and use is yellow. And then if it is a product and it does have like fruits, I try to incorporate that in the shot. So this has blackberry, so I'm gonna add little blackberries on the shot as well. So that's just a little bit of pre-planning that I did before this shot. I didn't pre-plan how I wanted to shoot it, but more of like the colors and then the fruit that I was gonna use and stuff like that. So these are little things that you want to think about before shooting the product. And now that I have that, and then I have the rest of the spots set up, I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna do it. Another thing I forgot to mention is I am gonna use some Gaffers tape, and I really like using the Gaffers tape because it doesn't leave a lot of marks, especially on the white table, so it's super helpful. Sometimes they're sold out randomly, so I bought mine from Guitar Center for like $5, and it's pretty big, so it's a lot cheaper to buy it in Guitar Center than buying it through Amazon. So you guys might want to try that out. One more thing too that you guys need to consider is this gonna be for a full website, or is it just gonna be a post on Instagram? If it is gonna be a post on Instagram, you do have to take the dimensions of 1080 by 1080 or 1080 by 1920 into account, and then figure out where it's gonna be posted. Because sometimes when you try to crop in into a 1080 by 1080, depending on how you shot the photo, you might not have been far enough from the product. So what you can do is you can turn it to the other side. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Alright guys, so right now I'm gonna go handheld and I'm gonna shoot this way. That way you can make sure that the shot fits for Instagram, or that you can crop it for Instagram. Alright guys, so right now I am ready to shoot, and I got everything ready. One of the things that I went to go do, like I mentioned, I went ahead and take this down, so that way when you're shooting pretty low, you don't really have to worry about this flopping up like it kind of is right here. And then aside from that, I have a strobe, and How you guys turn on the strobes, if you're just curious, you just press this button and then you turn the wheel and it's ready. And then it'll tell you which one you're working with, either A or B. And then after that, what you want to do is you want to get whatever, let me show you guys. You want to get whichever one you're shooting with dialed in. So this one, this strobe up here, that one is B. So right now I went ahead and dialed it into to 1/16. So, and the way that you switch between these is A and B. Right now I have A turned off, and this is exactly the angle that I have it at. This angle is really helpful because it's shooting down. So when you take the shot, the shot will look extra clean. And it gets rid of all the shadows on the stuff on the side mostly, and it'll be easier to edit. Now I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like with adding the white Elmers board. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it. I have this C stand here, which is gonna be for the white Elmers board, and then the C stand over here holding up this light. So right now I just took a couple of shots and I actually do like it with the board, strangely enough. Right now what I am gonna do, I'm gonna try it with another light. And so I got to figure out what I was telling you guys, like between the light A and then light B, and then you have to figure out the lighting that you wanted to shoot at. Usually you want the main key light, you want it to overpower, and then the B light, in this case it's my A light, is gonna be not as strong but enough to light the subject a little bit more. So we're gonna go ahead and try that. Alright guys, now that I figured out the composition for the shot, figuring out the sizing for Instagram, I'm gonna go ahead and add the berries, because once you add the berries, it's gonna just make a lot more work in Photoshop, because then it's gonna leave all these like little dots in with the backdrop paper, and so it's gonna leave marks, and you want to minimize the amount of times of moving stuff around because it's just gonna create more work on Photoshop. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the berries right now. And that's the shot. Alright guys, I'm done with the shoot for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and just edit the rest of the photos. I'm probably gonna only edit one for you guys. Alright guys, so right now I'm on Photoshop, and I'm gonna go ahead and open the photos that I picked that I thought that I liked. Alright, so I went ahead and labeled them, and when I opened them, I pressed Ctrl-O, and that's what will help you to open the photos. And when you open the photos this way, when you crop down, it'll make sure that you have the maximum quality, because it'll open them as RAW files. So we're gonna go ahead and click on all of them, and we're gonna open them. And then from here, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go ahead and click all of them. And you can edit them from here, but I prefer editing them in Photoshop. You just have more control that way. So we're gonna go ahead and open them. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go press and we're gonna press Ctrl-N. And with this one, you're gonna open a new one. And in this one, depending on the format that you wanna open, you can have two formats. So we can do 1080 by 1920. This is sometimes if photos are going to be formatted for Instagram stories and they end up deciding to do an ad campaign, this is where you would want to do it. So you would create that one, and then you would do Control-N again, and you can go check to make sure 1080 by 1350 works. That's a regular Instagram post. And then what you can go ahead and do is, this is an IG shot, so I know this one will fit. But if you don't want to do double the work, what you can do is you can edit one version. Let's say I'm gonna pick this one. So we're gonna go ahead and do all the editing here so that you have a website picture ready to go. And then after that, you're gonna have an Instagram stories version ready to go, and then you're gonna have an IG post ready to go. Now, before you start doing all the editing, the thing that I would do is I would definitely just drag this photo, and I would drag it here, and then from there you can resize it. Because one of the worst things that you could do is you go in and you edit all these little things, and then you realize it doesn't fit. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to see if this photo will even fit in both as an IG story or as a IG post. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hold Alt, Control, and we're gonna size it down to see how it works. Now, this is exactly the reason why I mentioned that you want to shoot it vertical, or yeah, it's a vertical, because you run into this problem of not being able to fit properly. And so that's something that you have to consider. Maybe for the IG post, you'd be able to get away with it. Let me see. You could just barely get away with it. And usually once you press Control T and you're able to move it, it's easier to move it with just the keyboard. It's a lot easier than just dragging stuff. And look, for the IG story, this works. So if you wanted to do less work, what I would do is I would edit one normally, and then the one that you shot this way, horizontally, I forget. No, the one that you shot vertically, you can apply to this one. Now, the easiest thing to do so you don't have to move a bunch of stuff is you're gonna go ahead and duplicate the layer. And since we are just posting these on social media, we're just gonna go ahead and get rid of this stuff up here. So we're gonna press Control T, and then we're gonna hold Alt down, and then we're just gonna stretch it to get rid of that. Probably around right there, that works. And then it does feel a little crooked, so we're gonna go Control T again, and then we're just gonna move it a little bit so that it looks straight. I think about right there. The other thing you can do is put Control R, and then you can drag these down, but I'm not gonna do it just because I can get away with it. Next thing we do, we're gonna put Control T, put this in the center, and we're gonna stretch it out a little bit more. So we're gonna hold Alt, and we're gonna stretch it a little bit more, and then we're gonna move it more to the left with the arrows. And it still doesn't look straight to me, so I am going to curve it a little bit more. And right here, you just go to the edge, and that to me looks clean. If you were to do any edits, some of the stuff that I choose is levels, brightness and contrast, and then selective color. And then the last one is, I think this will get you going mostly. And then sometimes I do like to duplicate some of my layers. So I know this locked one is going to be the original one, but this one, I'm going to just call it OG. And then the second one, I am going to apply stuff to it. So the things I'm going to add to it is shadows and highlights. And what we're going to do is you're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Shadows and Highlights. And then from here, you can adjust some of the shadows. So see, we're making the bottle a little bit cleaner and brighter. That might be too much, but I like it. All right, and sometimes playing with the slider is kind of annoying, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put in the number till I get something that I like. And I think 3 works. And again, you wanna have all this written up. That way you know what you did. See, look at that difference. And if you wanted to go somewhere in half, you can change the opacity. So we have the opacity at 41, so that way it's not like all the way crazy. But I think maybe having it to 90 or 63, that still looks nice to me. And it still looks crooked to me. So we're gonna go ahead and select both the layers, and we're gonna turn it one more time. Okay, that looks a little bit better. All right, And then now that we have the shadows and the highlights, look at that, looks way better. We can mess with the levels just to see what to do. And we're just gonna move this one. So this is too bright. So I like it where it is. Let's see if the mid one we can change. And I like that better. It makes the bottles a little bit darker. And there we go. Small adjustments, but there's a difference. All right, next one we can do is brightness and contrast. So I really want that yellow to pop. So the yellow pops a lot more if I have it around 9. And then for brightness, we're gonna have it at right there. And now I'm gonna try to see if I can scale back some of the colors or some of the lighting, but I can't go any further down. So let me see. Sometimes if you can adjust the color, so we're gonna go to yellow. And on selective color right here, what you can do is you're gonna be able to move the blacks on the yellow. It's kind of weird, but does it look too yellow? I like it looking very yellow. That looks actually really nice. Maybe pull this back. So we're gonna keep it like that, man. That looks good. And then from here, you just kind of play around with the colors. Another one that I'm gonna go ahead and add is exposure. Now with the exposure, I think I'll be able to control a little bit of the highlights more, but let's see what it does. I do like that look a little bit better. I like that one's at 0. Yeah, and this one's just for the exposure. I like that. Now, sometimes what people will do, they'll go in and they'll only go in and affect one part of the bottle. So what some people do is they'll grab the main bottle or the main logo. They'll grab it from there. I'll see if it grabs it. And it grabs some of it. We want to grab the whole bottle. So I went up here to this tool and then I just put object selection tool. And then some people will make that part brighter. So they would create a mask. All right, so we're gonna go and delete the mask that it originally came with. And then we're gonna grab this. We're just gonna point at it and then it'll select it. And then from there, we'll create a mask so that it'll only affect the bottle. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and invert the mask. So it's Control I. And then from there, what we can do is we could only do it so that it only affects the bottle. And actually, I'm gonna go reverse. There we go. And then from here, we're just going to go and adjust the bottle. See, look how dark it is. And we can make it so that it looks brighter, so that the object pops. Now we could go ahead and duplicate everything else, but I think this does it, and that might be even a little too much. I'm gonna go down to 20, so 20. All right, that way the logo is really bright and it's clearly popping. I'm gonna try to do one. Yeah, 2 works. And then the next thing that you wanna do is you're gonna wanna go and we're gonna duplicate this layer. And on this one, we are going to remove the hotspots. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the hotspots. So we're gonna go grab this spot healing brush. And you can make the brush bigger and smaller with the brackets. The right bracket makes it bigger and then the left bracket makes it smaller. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go in, you're gonna press Alt, and then you can go on your wheel to zoom in. And we're gonna zoom in a little bit more. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of all the hotspots. So all you do is you just do a circle that's a little bit bigger than the spot, and we're gonna go ahead and press it. I forgot the opacity was at 63. So we're gonna go back to 100. See, these little things add up. We're gonna make sure the opacity is back to 100 for the hotspots, because otherwise this is just gonna bleed out onto
onto the other ones, which aren't gonna fix the problem. So again, we're just gonna go ahead and make sure the circle's a little bit bigger, and then we're just gonna press that, and look, it is gone. Now it's not perfect, but it's better than what it looked like earlier. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this one too. Now again, it starts doing that, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go and keep on pressing around and hold it, and that kind of helps to get rid of the other spots. That's a little bit better. It's kind of tricky. You just have to do a lot of like trial and error. But I got rid of that, and then the next one we're getting rid of that, and look, it's gone. Now we're gonna go ahead and repeat this process for all of them, even for that. So for stuff like this, you want to go and get rid of this first, and then now we're gonna go ahead and get rid of the big one. Now see how crazy it looks? We're gonna go and drag it around. So this just is kind of what you do by trial and error, and it just takes a lot of playing around. If you don't like it how it looks, you can always go back with Control C, but usually just dragging it around does the job. And then just go back in and get the small ones that you didn't like. And there, look, clean. Ew, you can kind of see the little spots, huh? So we're gonna go ahead and drag it for that. See, that looks a little bit better. For this one, we're gonna go drag stuff around. Nope, didn't like that one. Straight, 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 straight. This stuff takes a while, guys, like I mentioned. But here you can kind of not really tell that it was done that way. This one you can because of this thing in the middle. That thing's taken care of. And now let's do these other ones. There's other ways to do it, but that is takes a little bit longer. But this mostly does the job. Unless you're like really pixel peeping, you'll be able to like see all that stuff. I still don't like how this is coming out. So sometimes what people will do is they'll get the patch tool, they'll do this, go around the area, and then maybe somewhere like this and see if that makes a difference. Nope. Nope. So maybe going around the edges. So again, we're gonna go spot healing, and again, this takes forever, guys. Like, I'm not even playing with y'all, like, but that's a little bit better. That looks better, at least to me. What some people do is they'll get the stamp tool and then they'll just click Alt, click an area, and then put that. But I don't really like doing it that way. But anyways, again, I'm not like super crazy professional, still learning, but this helps to get the trick done. All right, that looks better. And then we're gonna go in here and grab these as well. Now I should have probably have cleaned the bottle, but I was kind of in a rush, and so I forgot to clean the bottles. All right, that looks better. And again, guys, it's just a lot of trial and error. Alright guys, we're just gonna leave it like that for that one. If they don't zoom in too much, you can get away with it. Let me try getting this one as well. Now this one was a lot easier to take care of than the other one. The other one was pretty crazy. See, and now look how this one came out. That one came out better than the other one. Nope. All right, and now we're gonna go here and see if there's any craziness on the logo. You want to make sure the logo is always super clean if possible. Get these little like white stuff. Get rid of that closer. Just try to make sure the logo is as clean as possible. You can grab these little ones right here. And I think everything else looks pretty clean. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys the before and after. So I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like color graded. And look, we make sure that we kept the bottle light. So this is gonna be a group, and what we're gonna do is color. And now that you have this color here, you can grab these and put them onto the other one. So if I wanted to do that, I'm gonna just put copy, and then we're just gonna go ahead and paste. And the only thing that I have to get rid of is this. And there we go. Everything should look similar. Of course, I did add the shadows and highlights, so that's why that looks so different. But if I wanted to turn it off, I can't turn it off because now I have this here. But turned off this is what it would look like. And look, they look fairly similar. So you just want to repeat this process for all the photos, but this is the easiest and fastest way to do it. I forgot I missed a couple of spots here, but all right, I'm gonna just go clean these as well. All right, that looks clean to me. And then what you can do now is, this is a color one, and then these are all the other ones that you did. So I would go ahead and put edits. But that way you know what you did, and you can repeat the same process to the other ones. And now I'm gonna put this image into the 1080 by 19. The 1920 by 1080. So we're gonna go and let me grab them again. Copy. Then we're gonna paste. And then now we're gonna hit Control T to transform. We're gonna move these, center them, and then Control and click, and we're gonna shrink them to the right size. And here's their second shot. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to learn stuff like this. I know it's a really long video, but this is the first version of showing you guys like the setup, what things to buy, and stuff like that. Yeah, this is the whole process of doing product photography at home. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You guys take care. Peace.